Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
My name is James. You're next.
Me? I'm Mary.
And I am Chris.
And this is where we talk all things Star Wars. And James is asking who. So Chris is the guy that's always on Instagram commenting on our podcast. So I decided to rip him out of cyberspace. There we go. I'm on the podcast. And before we get started, we definitely want to thank our awesome top tier Patreon members out there. Starting off with Liam McCallan, Kevin Leininger, Deb McCaffrey, Zach Netzel, Maya Morris, Adam Haber, Front Row King, Cam from Indiana, Mariana Atia Arnold, Arrest Jedi 27, Alex Blundell, Indiana Solo, BC Doomit, and Sean Smith. Thank you so much for your awesome love and support. Yes. Also, want to recognize LegionSabers.com. Use a code STUFF at checkout for 15% off. We'll be with them physically at Level Up Con in Vegas at the end of the month. So check us out there. And without further ado, it is Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. We have decided that we're going to do a hot take episode for this Easter cast. It's all James's idea. It's going to be his fault if it goes bad. So we're blaming
this goes really bad. Yeah, this is 100% my fault.
I can't wait for the comments. I can't wait for the hot take comments.
The comments are going to be blistering here.
This is the funny thing when it comes to David sometimes messaging us in the middle of the night or in the evening. Hey, who's ready to podcast? Who's ready to podcast? And we jump on here and we always say, what are we going to talk about? You know what he always says? Star Wars. That's it. And then he hits record and then we go. And so some of the episodes we've done, we don't have a plan. We just go with it. But this time
around,
that's
the nice thing. That's a nice thing. We're all just pals. We're all just pals hanging out, talking about Star Wars. And everyone gets to be a pal and listen and talk with us.
And, sometimes that creates the best content. So, the best shows.
Thank you.
So, Chris, you were going to say something before the show began about a hot take you had about Star Wars. And I said, wait, I don't want to I want to hear it on the episode. So I'm surprised. You know what I mean? So what is your hot take that you were going to say before the show started?
I was going to say that it would be a hot take, I think, within this group, at least the majority of the people you have on this podcast. But, The Last Jedi is absolutely a top 3 Star Wars movie.
You know what?
I die on that hill. And if people want to come with me to try to die on it with me, I will take them with me on that hill.
James, I think you just found your new best friend.
My new best friend. That is literally top 3 Star Wars film.
Yes,
for me.
Absolutely.
Last Jedi. Everything I wanted in a Star Wars movie and what had come before and what that one did, I was like, that is how you do that movie.
That is absolutely, when I saw it for the first time and I walked out the theater, pretty emotional. I was like, that is what I've been waiting for since 1980.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember watching it I am old. I remember watching it in 1980 when I was 4. So yeah, it has been that movie was what I was waiting for in Star Wars since 1980. And I will die on that hill.
What is it that you love so much about it?
Yeah.
What I love so much about it is because for me, the progression of the legacy characters kind of worked in my own headcanon. When I saw Luke in The Force Awakens, he looked defeated at the end. He didn't look like he was ready to go on some big adventure. He didn't look like he was ready to take on, the First Order with the laser sword. He looked like he was ready to die. That was my thing. So, going into The Last Jedi, everyone had ideas of what they wanted to see with Luke Skywalker. And I was like, no, if anything, he's looking more like latter day Yoda, Obi-Wan. Like he's not up for this at all. And I made a lot of my buddies eat crow when he threw that lightsaber. I was like, I told you. And then his progression and then how his character, a lot of folks, they fault the fact that they say Luke's character didn't progress or there was no character development with Luke. They just threw him at us in a negative light. I think it's absolutely incorrect. Luke's character grew by leaps and bounds from the start of that movie to the end of that movie. And at the end of that movie, he did the most Jedi thing that any character in a Star Wars movie has ever done. He pushed the Force to the max and sacrificed himself so that the Resistance, aka the rebellion at that point, whatever you want to call it, was able to survive. And also, I believe that's what laid the seed in Kylo Ren / Ben Solo for him to be redeemed in the hot pile of garbage that was Rise of Skywalker.
You know what? That's pretty good. That's really good. And I'm gonna say this. Mark Hamill was at a con recently, or he actually said this before, where he was like, "Do you think?" He goes, "You would have thought Yoda or Obi-Wan would have told him what would happen if he doing when he became the Force projection." Like they should have told him that it was going to kill him. That's something he was like, I think that was ridiculous that Obi-Wan and Yoda didn't tell him. In my brain, I was like, okay, how about this? What if Luke knew that was going to kill him, but he still did it? And that for me was at the end
the
of
ultimate sacrifice.
The ultimate sacrifice, where he was like, I'm going to do the craziest Force ability anyone's ever seen, and it's going to kill me. But I need to do this to allow the Resistance, like you said, Resistance or Rebellion, and for who, we all thought he was the last Jedi, but in reality, he says, I will not be the last Jedi, which is Rey, for her to go on. And I was like, this is good. This is what I wanted. That last shot of the kids talking about the Legend of Luke, I'm like, this is great. And then when it ended, I was happy. I get online and I'm reading all the reviews. I'm like, what happened? I was like, did I watch a completely different movie from everything else?
Here's the thing is that the reviews that I read initially were like glowing, even from other Star Wars fans. I think I didn't start seeing the negativity till probably 2 weeks out. And then it just grew from there. It just went crazy. And again, this is another hill I'll die on. It's not the majority of fans. It's the loud, small minority. Because I know all of the majority of Star Wars fans that I know, they either really like it, they like it, or they think it's okay. I don't know a lot of Star Wars fans personally. And then in my travels and all the celebrations and cons that I go to, they don't hate it like you see the hate spewed for it online to this day, even though it is kind of dying down. But back in 2017, 2018, when it was just all over the place, I never ran into someone in real life that truly felt like some of those people that were online, really hating on The Last Jedi. I never ran into anyone like that. Okay, maybe one or two, but then I had like 20, 25 that felt complete opposite. So I honestly do think, just based on my own metrics, that it is a small, loud minority that has probably given this movie this reputation. But yeah, back to the Force projection. When I kind of assumed that it was happening because Homeboy got a glow up out of nowhere, right? So I was like, yeah, that's not really him. Yeah, he got a glow up out of nowhere. Remember, Kylo made a reference to Force projection earlier in the movie when he thought it was Rey doing it. When he thought, before that whole dyad thing got fleshed out, he thought Rey was projecting herself. And he's like, oh, I know that's not you because the effort would kill you. So, yeah. So I knew that if that was Luke's projection, that he was probably done. And again, I was happy about it because, again, he did the ultimate Jedi thing by sacrificing himself, just giving a big old Force punch at the end, and then, fading away into nothingness like most Jedi do.
There's a great moment. Somebody pointed it out to me, which was the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi says in A New Hope, your eyes will deceive you. Don't trust your eyes. And everyone was like, Kylo Ren should have known. He should have looked and been like, wait, something is wrong here. And plus, I remember Mark Ruffalo, weirdly enough, of all celebrities, after he saw The Last Jedi, he was like, he put, great movie. Kylo should have looked at that lightsaber closely. And I was like, that's right, because it exploded and he never put it together going, wait, this is intact right now. Why? You know what I mean? Like, so things like that at the end of The Last Jedi, I was like, this is pretty cool. So yeah.
And it wasn't perfect. Like the Canto Bight, I thought the Canto Bight could have been reduced to like a couple of key scenes and it still would have gotten the story moving. I thought that was a little bit overdone. And then at the one thing that it's kind of softened on me a little bit, the whole Leia Poppins thing. And when I first saw it, I was like, first of all, I was teary eyed because, you know, we had just lost Carrie Fisher a year before that, right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, they're going to kill her here. And then, you know, I saw her open her eyes, and then I saw her reach out, and then she started moving across the screen looking like Mary Poppins. I was like, okay, this is emotional, but it's also pretty ridiculous at the same time. But I've softened on that a little bit. You know, that's kind of, you know, when that scene comes on, I kind of like grab my popcorn or get a drink or something like that and let it finish. And then I come back, and then the movie's great again, you know?
One more thing. I know time marker. This whole podcast is about The Last Jedi. There is a moment now that I've seen the movie multiple times. It's whenever Luke and Leia have their scene when they're in the cave, and you hear the theme from Return of the Jedi playing, which I was like, thank God John Williams brought it back in. When he hands her the dice, quote unquote, hands her the dice, you see her look at him really quickly. And then he kind of like does like a look to her, and then she smiles because she knows, like when he did that, she felt, oh, you're not. I know what you're doing, and I thought that was a really subtle, good moment that Johnson was able to create between the two of them. And of course, we know famously that he kissed Carrie Fisher. That was not a moment that was written in the script. And then of course he was it Anthony Daniels or Mark Hamill who had the idea to wink at 3PO.
Well, it supposedly Anthony Daniels just went out and said, "Oh, Master Luke," and then so it was ad-libbed on both ends.
Good.
Yeah, Anthony Daniels wasn't supposed to say anything, but he said, "Oh, Master Luke," because they were supposed to just give each other a glance, right? But he said, "Oh, Master Luke," and then, you know, Mark Hamill winked, and then he walked off. And I thought that was perfect. That whole scene, you know, if you grew up loving the original trilogy like I did, that kind of was the bookend for it for me. You know, knowing that now it's time to move on, and you know, these characters have, you know, done their bit for King and Country. It's time for the next generation to move on.
That's what James's big thing is about this. Is it's the new group. It's time to give them their time.
And you know, me like anyone coming into the sequel. Okay, here I am. Like coming into the sequel trilogy. Yeah, you know, I did have some desire to see those three together again, but you know, the more as I've grown older, you know, it's been over 10 years since The Force Awakens. I realized that, yeah, it kind of made sense that they kind of did their own thing. And you know, they were two of them were together in certain instances. But I think now looking back at the whole thing, I think it made sense the way they kind of cobbled it together. Because we all know they didn't have a cohesive plan, but the way that it was cobbled together, I think it made sense anyway. But
it's funny. I was talking to David about this a while back. I was watching The Force Awakens. It'd been a while since I was watching it, and I'm like, I'm going to see this movie again. It's been a while, and I'm starting it, and I'm loving it. And then I was like, the story slows down once Han Solo comes into the movie, and which is really weird to say. But then you look at it, it's you're introducing your three new. You know, the new big three is pretty much what you're introducing in the first part of The Force Awakens, and the story just goes. It's just going. It's going. It's like yes, yes, yes. And then when you see Han Solo, everything just slows down, and you're like, oh, okay, here we go. And I don't know. For me, it was like, man, if Han Solo hadn't showed up, I think, like if Han Solo had come in at the very end, almost like, you know, when we see Leia in Force Awakens, I think that still would have been pretty good. But you know, that's just me. David, you're very quiet over there. Are you judging? Are you agreeing? Are you?
He's letting us roll. That's what I think.
He's letting us roll. I know. I feel bad that you're just sitting there enjoying the show, and I want to know. I want to know how you feel about us talking about this.
Oh, that's fine. It's Star Wars. We have a Star Wars podcast, so, and it's an episode movie.
I have a question. So
for who?
All of you.
Okay.
Me, I feel like I'm indifferent. James loves it. Chris, you enjoy it. David has his qualms about it. Do you feel like this is one of those things, like with time, people will start to accept it if they got more of what's happening in between last time we see Luke to this point, to realize how he gets to this point? Because I think that's, and David, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like, I think that's people's biggest issue is like, that's not Luke Skywalker. He would never kind of thing. But to see what he goes through to get him to that point, do you think it would make it better for the people who really just have issues with that movie?
James, you want to take this first, or you want me to take it first?
You can take it. Go for it.
Okay. So, I think it could. The honest to God truth, like, we've had 2 cameos in Filoni verse live action Star Wars of Luke Skywalker, and I don't think that made too much of a difference. I think the problem is Legends stuff, because in Legends and a lot, I will say this, I don't want to assume or prejudge anybody, but a lot of people that had issues with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi were avid, or I'll use Expanded Universe because that's when it was at its peak. It was called Expanded Universe. They were avid book readers, and in the books, Luke Skywalker is like the man, like a pretty powerful Jedi, like comparable to Starkiller, yanking Star Destroyers out of space. And then here he is, a frail old man, not wanting to do anything. I think that had a lot to do with it. However, do I see people softening to this? And the answer is yes. And it really doesn't have to do with, again, we've seen, Luke in a live action scenario in, The Mandalorian and then Book of Boba Fett. I think as people grow older, they look at things in a different lens. And that's what I've noticed, is that because we're pushing 9 years now, right? I think as they've grown older and either they decide to give it another shot, or, I know people say, they're Star Wars fans. They love Star Wars. And, The Last Jedi was on FX, so they just watched it, I've seen them come and, and then they'll be like, you know what? I kind of understand it a little bit better. Because, we're looking at, initially they were looking at Luke Skywalker through a lens of a, 20 to 30-year-old at the time that they were reading those books. Now they're, in their 40s, hitting midlife, and they know, Luke is older in that movie, and they kind of relate a little bit better. That's the best way I can describe it. But I do see people softening on it just because as they get older, they look at art like that in a different lens. Their lens changes, and then they see it differently. And I think that has helped. But the flip side,
their life experiences.
Exactly. The flip side of that, and it's the same thing we saw with the prequels. Everyone here, I was sure, was out of 10, 12 or older when The Phantom Menace came out in 99. Yeah. I was 22, so I was an old man already, right?
I was trying to do the math real quick. I was 12.
So those kids that, the prequel trilogy was their Star Wars, like the original trilogy was our Star Wars, or my Star Wars, I should say, because I don't want to label anyone super old Gen X like me. They grew up and that's their favorite trilogy, not the sequels, not the original. That's their favorite trilogy. And I also see a lot of early or late teens, early to mid 20s who the sequels were theirs, and they love The Last Jedi. And guess what? They have, they have careers now. The most important thing is that they have adult money. And so they're throwing that money into Star Wars, and a lot of it revolves around the sequel trilogy because that's their trilogy. So, I think within the next maybe 5 years, the same we're going to start to see the same thing happen around the sequel trilogy, even that hot steaming pile of garbage, The Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, that one's my favorite of the last 3.
That's awesome, and see, I don't have a qualm with that. That's cool. I think that's awesome.
You, Chris.
No, I'm
calling it that.
Don't. Okay.
Time marker, please. Time marker.
Okay. Well, then I will just say the movie that I don't prefer. How about that?
Okay. Period.
Okay.
Thank you.
But there are parts of The Rise of Skywalker that I really like. But overall, I just thought, and this is my opinion, and the great thing about this is that we can discuss this and go around in circles, and that's what fandom is really.
Yeah.
It was a cobbled together thing last minute to try to course correct something that didn't need to be course corrected. And it shows. And that's what I think. Now the trailers and stuff, and like the media blitz, all the media clips leading up to they look amazing. But honestly, that's the best parts of the movie that they showed already. But no, I mean,
that's called good marketing.
Yes, great marketing. Yes, but no, I'll like it. Like I was saying earlier, you know, if The Rise of Skywalker is on FX, I'll watch it. You know, it's Star Wars. And you know, if they put it up against another movie, like a Planet of the Apes movie, one of the bad ones, I'll say no, Rise of Skywalker all day. You know, it's Star Wars, so I'll always defend it.
Yeah,
but you know, I have my favorites, and that's not one of them.
What about you, James? Do you need more of the in between Luke? You think that'll soften more people?
Maybe. I think. Well, I mean, we're getting that with Mando and the whole Filoni Favreau verse. We're getting to the Force Awakens. Like that's kind of the mission of Mandalorian. Is yeah, maybe, but I mean that was the original goal whenever Mandalorian first came out. And once you get to season 2, you start going, oh, this is leading into the sequel trilogy. They're introducing things that we're going to see later. You hear the word order. The galaxy needs order, and you go, oh, there it is. Oh, so I feel like with more time, and if we get more content in between, almost like how we did Clone Wars from the prequels to the original trilogy, Clone Wars really gave the prequels a lot more to go
substance.
off. Yeah, a lot more substance. And I think that's what's going to happen with the sequel trilogy. And I remember whenever Luke Skywalker came in Mandalorian season 2, at the end of season 2, everyone was like, that's Luke Skywalker. And I'm like, you're right. That is Luke's. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's who he is. And that's what at
like, that time.
They're like, that's what I wanted to see in The Last Jedi. And I was like, no, but he wasn't. That wasn't him. This moment was the best Luke could ever be, and it was amazing. And I've had people ask me, well, did you prefer Luke in this one? Or I was like, it's the same character. It's
Luke, exactly.
It's Luke Skywalker. And I was like, and it was really cool to see him in Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett to be like, but this is Luke and his powers. But also in Book of Boba Fett, Luke kind of did a not a cool thing to Grogu with making Grogu choose. And then you go, Luke, the council did the same thing to your father, and look what happened. Get away from that. And then you go, oh, he does, because when he gets to the Last Jedi, he tells Rey, like the Jedi had a lot of hubris, the Jedi this, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense now.
So my problem with him in the Book of Boba Fett, when he tries to get Grogu to like pick and stuff, it's like Yoda tried to get you to stay, and you still picked your friends and stuff, and said you'd come back. So and that wasn't that long in between.
No,
so it's like right. That part for me, that I think is the only time for me where I was like, this Luke doesn't make sense. Like there's not enough time, too much. I mean, yeah, he watched his dad die and stuff, but it was for the good of the galaxy and stuff. So, but it's like, how are you going to make this Padawan choose between his family and becoming a Jedi, when the reality, that same offer was brought to you and you got to do both? So that I think for me, that's the only time Luke didn't feel like genuine Luke. In The Last Jedi, it's like something's got to have happened for him to get to this point. Right. And I think Travis Mitchell brought it up like a couple of podcasts ago, where he is modeling the only real father figure he had in Uncle Owen and stuff. He's living off the land, and stuff like that, and like that makes sense to me. So, all right, now the most important opinion, the person who has qualms with The Last Jedi.
The person who's very, very like thinking a lot right now. Like if you're watching this on YouTube, you've been watching David's face go like this the whole time.
Okay, like but here's the thing.
Yeah,
he's like
whatever David
like
says,
super
we
villain.
all have to boo. Whatever David says, we just all have to unanimously boo at him.
He's like a supervillain seeing society go by in success while he tries to figure out a way to destroy it.
What do you guys do to the podcast? I mean,
I'm sorry. I know I'm the new
causing a riot over here.
I'm causing a riot over here.
I'm just joking. No, I mean, I want for the Star Wars Stuff podcast, everyone that speaks, I want them to be real. I want their own genuine opinion. Everyone's gonna like something different or a different aspect or a different movie. That's fine. To go back to Mary's question, will this sequel trilogy be more liked in the future? I think definitely yes. I think it kind of goes back to what Chris said. The kids now are growing up with the sequels and the sequel trilogy. And we've seen this before. I mean, history repeats itself. When the prequels came out, all the people that grew up with the original trilogy thought it was horrible. It was awful. Like, what was Jar Jar? What are we doing? What are we talking about? We're talking
The
about
greatest
politics.
character out there. Duh.
And so when those kids became adults, it's happened. They have adult money. They're spending. Hayden Christensen is on the con circuit. Ewan McGregor is like astounded by everyone cheering him and audiences and big panels and stuff. And it's like George Lucas always says, it's like poetry. It rhymes. This thing's going to come back around. And I think eventually The Last Jedi, and I've seen some people say it online, The Last Jedi is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. And I'm like, okay. Not
That's a big
what I
statement.
wanted. It makes a whole lot of sense, the movie, but it's like what I always say. It's like you're going to a steakhouse, and for me, I got nothing but vegetables. I didn't get a steak. I was expecting a steak. I think our expectations really wrecked us. Some people, we thought Luke was going to be the hero, and
we had all these.
He was the hero, but it wasn't in a cinematic way. It was very kind of book type way. The way I see it, it wasn't as cinematic. It was very moving, but it's like
in a cinematic way, though.
People will riff on it and be like, "Okay, well, what did you expect? Luke Force Unleashed and taking down the AT-ATs and going like just ballistic." And I mean, I didn't expect that per se. I thought there was going to be something cool that happened with that, but I mean, yeah, as time goes on, like Chris said, we're gonna look through a different lens and we're gonna revisit the films and it's going to mean something different. It has a lot to do with the filmmaker too, Rian Johnson. And when a director directs, especially a writer-director, they're going to put their life experiences in there. And my film-going experience, I've seen directors do it a certain way, and I think that's the way that a lot of us were kind of expecting. And I go back to the like simplistic analogy of, and it's going to sound ridiculous when I say it, but when you go see a Fast and the Furious film, you're going to see fast cars. And I think that's what a lot of people were expecting. We're going to see Luke Skywalker, but no, we didn't get the version of Luke Skywalker we were expecting. And that pretty much trumped anything that was in that film. And people just gravitated towards that. And then there's the other crowd that talks about like all the other ancillary things that were in the film that they could have talking points about. So it was tricky. And now you kind of see why all these directors did not want to touch Star Wars because of The Last Jedi. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and watch The Last Jedi. Maybe it'll ring more truer to me. I mean,
here's my recommendation. And I actually did this not last year, but in 2022 in Anaheim, because I did actually run into somebody who actually I'm good friends with now, who didn't like The Last Jedi, but wasn't because of just some other things, not necessarily Luke and how he turned out in that movie. But I'm like, look, you're hyped up. We're all hyped up. You know, celebration is over. It was great. Within a week, go home and watch The Last Jedi. And he did, and he messaged me. He's like, you know what? I actually kind of dig it now. So my advice to you, David, is since it's not your favorite. I'm not going to say you don't like it, but it's definitely not your favorite Star Wars movie. It's not probably top 5, top 3 or whatever, like it is for me. Give it some time. Celebration next year is going to be amazing. It's going to be huge. It's going to be fun. It's the 50th anniversary. Watch it after that, because then you'll be like you'll be a full 10 years, almost 10 years removed from the debut. Watch it then, and then let us know what you think if we're still around.
Yeah, and I think Filoni's going to give us kind of like the Luke Skywalker that we were all kind of expecting in his movie that's coming out. I think that's what's going to happen. what he did with the last season or the second season, the last episode of The Mandalorian was wild, and that's kind of what I think fans were anticipating. And that was a great kind of, I don't know if it was like a makeup type thing situation, or it's just like, because you hear in interviews, Filoni and Favreau say, this is what's supposed to happen. This is the only thing we could do. And I hear James always say, The Last Jedi was the only way it could have worked out. So I don't know.
Well, see, here's the thing. Both things can be true at once. And I think that's the situation here, is like what James said earlier, is that at that point in time, that was Luke Skywalker. At that point in time, at the time of the sequel trilogy, that was Luke Skywalker. We've seen a lot of tragedy in this world, and we all know it just takes a couple of bad events in someone's life to completely turn their attitude and the way they look at the world upside down. And I think that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
So that's just my
psychology of it all too. Like what I said when I was growing up, I never saw a good adult in my life just turn. I've never seen that in my life growing up. Thankfully, I know it happens. But I think the older heads going into that movie did not want to see that, because I know there's a lot of trauma there, and I think a lot of people wanted to go to that movie feeling good about it. And then they saw what happened with Luke, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm coming to this movie to see the glorious Luke Skywalker, and we're getting a mirror on our lives."
Yeah, see, and that's the thing is I never got that impression, because again, when I saw him at the end of The Force Awakens in tattered clothes, making the frowniest face I've ever seen Mark Hamill make in a movie, I knew that it wasn't going to be roses in the next movie. I knew something was off, and I think it was off on purpose. And that's why I guess I tempered my expectations, because coming into the sequel trilogy, I wanted to see a badass Luke, and keep in mind, I didn't really read any of the expanded universe stuff, so I wanted to see a badass Luke. But seeing him, at the beginning of that movie, knowing that he went into hiding, right? Okay, so something really serious happened. And then at the end, seeing him, I was like, like I said, he looked defeated. He looked like he was done. I from that point on, my expectation really did change to, there's something going on, and I think they're going to have to flesh that out. And for me, they did in The Last Jedi.
Intrigue.
On the pod. Here's a hot take that I have. Here's a hot take. The sequel trilogy has some of John Williams' best work he's ever done as a composer.
Yes.
I think the sequel trilogy's music in all three films is absolutely amazing. So
yes, I would agree with that.
There's no Duel of the Fates, don't get me wrong.
No. I think that there are a couple of pieces of music, like there's the Imperial March, there's Duel of the Fates, that can never be touched. You know what I mean? But like Rey's theme, at first it didn't really capture me, but then after watching I freaking saw The Force Awakens 14 times in the theater. Okay,
7 times for me. David, how many times for you?
Yeah. How many times?
I can't count that high. No. I saw it once at 7 p.m. that Thursday. Then I saw the IMAX screening immediately after that. Then I saw the showing in my hometown with my daughter. Then I saw it again with my wife. Then I saw it again by myself, I think. And I think I saw it another time, so maybe 6. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Mary?
It was either 8 or 9.
So safe to say, we went back a couple of times to watch.
Correct.
Yes, Chris, go for it.
Now, I will be honest that some of my vendors they had events for their clients, and like 3 of the showings were paid for by my vendors. But still, that still added to the count. But I would say probably after my 3rd viewing I was just enamored with Rey's theme. I thought it was just absolutely beautiful. And I normally don't play soundtrack music in my car. I normally jam out to something. But for about the next week or so, I had Rey's theme just on repeat in my car, because it was just, I loved it. But no, I agree with you, James. There are some of the the Resistance theme, I really think that's underrated. I think that's a good theme. Yeah, I agree with you. The music, some of the music that John Williams did for that trilogy was top notch.
Rey's theme automatically hit me. The first like few notes, I was like, "This is a Star Wars instant classic right here." And I thought the rest of it was going to be like that, but it kind of wasn't for me. So I kind of disagree with what James said. It's great, but it's like if the original trilogy soundtrack is a 10, what do you rank the the Force Awakens? Is James frozen?
James, are you? Yeah, it looks like he is. And it's a perfect
answer this one.
You should screen cap that. That's a perfect.
Just the scowl.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't put, like, for me, I wouldn't put The Force Awakens into top 4, top 5, but it's up there. You know what I mean? I think and I think they're pieces that hold its own against any piece in the Star Wars saga. But I think it's up there for me. Like the best movie soundtrack, and I for me, it makes this movie is the Empire soundtrack. I think that's the best of them all.
Yeah.
My number two, which some people have issues with, is I think The Phantom Menace. Obviously, you have Duel of the Fates, but it has a lot of big booming themes, like, you know, the flag parade and all that. There's big booming themes that sound amazing. So my number 2 is The Phantom Menace.
That's pretty good. I love The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it's for me, it's not, I don't think it's the best prequel movie, but it's my favorite prequel. No, it's my favorite prequel movie.
We've been abandoned, Chris.
Hey, so we're just going to continue on ourselves. So we can talk about whatever we want to, Mary, whatever we want.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I think if I had to pick a soundtrack to one of them, gosh, I think it's a tie between A Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Sith is good.
Yeah, I think those are the two if I had to pick like a soundtrack, like my top one, I think it's those two. So like I've had the like honor to get to see John Williams live and stuff at the Hollywood Bowl, and it's amazing. It's such an amazing experience. I don't think he does it anymore where he himself goes, but they still do his music and stuff, and you get to like watch the parts of the movie as they play it and stuff. I think I was in tears the entire time. And then you just look across the Hollywood Bowl that holds thousands and thousands of people with thousands, each of them holding up a lightsaber and stuff. So it's clear like this music really holds a really special place in so many lives. And this show like sells out every single night.
Yeah, no, his music is amazing. And I am totally envious of you. Obviously being a fan, I know of those shows.
Yeah.
Being in Texas, it wasn't something feasible for me to go at the time to go catch it out or
Sad
catch
face.
a show. But I have seen him conduct live. And that was at the 2 celebrations where he was conducting live. That was at the 2017 celebration in Orlando.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And
okay.
That was amazing. I was in like the front row for that. I was totally stoked.
Nice.
And then he did it again in 2022 in Anaheim when they debuted they first talked about the new Indiana Jones movie that he came out and did a couple of pieces there. So nice. I have seen him conduct, but not a whole show like that. And so I am definitely envious of you for having been able to do that.
The best part were the stories in between the songs. Like, so he was doing a 007 part, like a song that he did. He's like, Steven Spielberg reached out to me. He said he needs something for this motorcycle chase and stuff. And I wrote him this piece and everything like that. I went to the theater, went to go watch the movie, and you can't even hear my song because the motorcycle is too loud and stuff. And I was just like, you sweet little old man. I love you so much.
So did he do Superman?
He did.
Theme? Oh,
he did Superman. He did E.T. He did Indiana Jones. He did a lot of Star Wars, some 007 stuff. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, that's one of my favorite movie themes of all time. That's really my only, like, the James Gunn Superman movie, which I loved completely. I'm a big time Superman fan. That was my only complaint, is that I thought he butchered that song with the way that he had it in there. I actually sent him like 2 messages on Instagram, and I know he didn't read them. But I'm like, hey, I think for the next one, just play the music. Don't mess with it. Just play it. You know what I mean?
That's so funny.
So yeah, that's the only qualm I have about that movie is that I think they just butchered John Williams' theme. But we'll see what happens with the next Superman movie.
Which is so weird because I feel like James Gunn he started out as a musician and stuff. So it's like, and when you watch any of his stuff, it's like such good music and everything like that. So that was kind of the last thing I would have expected to happen there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Music is ultra important to the quality and everything that you feel in a movie. The music is like the driving force. Adam on YouTube says, I think the prequels get a George Lucas bump. I do believe the sequels will get more love over time, but not close to what we're seeing now with the prequels. I can see that. I can agree with that. I love the big three. I love the sequel big three. Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac. I think they were awesome. I think their characters could be fleshed out way more in the future, and I hope that happens. I know we're going to meet John Boyega here at Rebel Scum Con, so maybe we'll get to talk to him a little bit about that. And I mean, we always say that Lucasfilm is listening to us, so yeah, we do want those characters.
They are.
And
they are.
And I can really foresee down the road we get like some random movie, and then John Boyega is kind of like the old grizzled Jedi, and like he became a Jedi in that whole gap, and then he's part of like maybe he's like the next Obi-Wan type figure, something akin to that. I think that'd be awesome. And I totally agree with Zach on YouTube there. Williams is our Mozart or Beethoven. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's how he's to be in all of our history books or history tablets, whatever you want to say. Travis Mitchell on YouTube says the music when Qui-Gon asked Boss Nass to take Jar Jar Binks is beautiful. I'm trying to remember that. What did that sound like?
It was very ominous. It was just like a half ominous, half joking theme when he used the mind trick on Boss Nass to have him release Jar Jar, which a lot of people don't catch. Like, no, Boss Nass didn't just give him. Qui-Gon mind tricked him to give up Jar Jar and to give him that transport.
Yeah,
so Qui-Gon did a bad thing.
But that's why we love Qui-Gon.
Hey, Qui-Gon's one of my favorite.
He gets
Jedis.
It done.
I the Kenobi series I thought was all right. I didn't think it was great. I liked it, but I didn't think it was great. But I did tear up at the end when I saw that like hollow Force Ghost like shadow, and I knew it was Qui-Gon, and I was like, yes, that's where he should be. Yeah, but it's enjoyable. I don't have other than I just think it's okay. I think it's good, but I thought it could have done some things better.
I think that one's probably one of my favorite series so far, between the writing, the cinematography, like just the way the lights hit them and the practical that they use in it.
Mm-hmm.
That one has to be one of my favorites, especially because like Obi-Wan, it's his fault. So much of it that happened is his fault. And to see him like carry that guilt and stuff and to live with it and to deal with it and stuff like that, to get to the point of where Alec Guinness was and stuff, to be able to like come back and everything. I really love that series. I really wish we had gotten another one. Also, it's the series where we get Hayden Christensen back, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, he's like, that was the first one.
Yep. Yeah, I think for me it was just kind of this for me. I like my stories to be kind of linear, and the majority of Star Wars stories are, and like that one kind of wasn't, so it kind of threw me off, and I didn't really dig that. Where it was really bad was the Acolyte, which I actually kind of dig, but I just do not dig the way they told that story. I dig the story, I just don't dig the way they told it. But back to Obi-Wan, that was really my only qualm. But obviously, it's a serious one for me because it's how they tell the story. But no, you're right. The way they shot that, the cinematography, the acting, it was great. It was
the writing in it.
Yeah, the writing was great. I just thought that how it was edited was kind of funky. And that kind of was a big detraction for me. But overall, I thought it was great.
That's pretty valid.
Have you seen the edit where they actually take all of Obi-Wan and make it into like a movie, like a 2.5 hour? That is good. I like that. Now, a lot of my friends are like, "Oh, that's blasphemy. You shouldn't take it." But I don't know if you guys can remember way back when. I think it was like 2001, around like right before the release of episode 2. Some person took the Phantom Menace and like re-edited everything and called it the Phantom
Yeah, it was
Edit.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, and that I thought that was a lot. That made the Phantom Menace a lot better. But I think that Obi-Wan edit, it's great. I like it. So when I want to watch Obi-Wan, sometimes I'll go back and watch that.
Yeah.
What's your hot take, David?
I was thinking about this. And I'm not really sure I do have.
Is it a lukewarm hot take? A lukewarm take? Do you want me to go first? Give you more time?
I'm in the whole mindset right now of I don't know what Lucasfilm is going to give us. I don't know. I don't know where their mind is at, because
I agree with you 100%.
I talk about it all the time on the podcast.
And it's not a hot take, bro. That's facts. That's not a hot take.
Yeah, I know. I don't really have a hot take, because I'm just kind of like, what are they doing? In the past, I've kind of been able to be like, okay, well, this is going to happen, and then that's going to happen. But now it just feels like Lucasfilm as a whole, just I can't. And of course, I used to communicate with certain people that kind of have just disappeared now. I don't know where they're at. I guess my sources. But I think they talk to other people.
For a second, I thought you meant like they disappeared. I was like, David, you should report.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
They were made to disappear.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of these people may have been very, very bad people. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
But somehow they knew things that in the beginning I was like, that you don't know that. And then it came true. And I'm like, maybe I should start paying attention to these people. And then one person disappeared. And then another person went on and on and on. And I think they got canceled. And then, and then they just kind of disappeared.
When you say canceled, are you talking about like Harry Knowles or
no,
somebody else?
Not Harry Knowles. Okay. I don't know. Did he get really canceled? Or he was accused of sexual assault.
I don't think any charges came to it, but he was forced to step down from his whole operation. So
I was thinking about him the other day, because I took a picture with him when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 came out. I'd never seen him in the wild before, and I was like, "Wow, that's Harry Knowles."
We lived in the same. We grew up in the same area in Austin, so I ran into him all the time. I knew his dad was a big comic book collector, and then we kind of lost touch. And then all of a sudden, I see his website. I was like, "Hey, I think I know that guy. I do know that guy." So we kind of we touched base here and there, but not since that whole thing went down.
So I've talked about it a lot on the podcast. I'd wake up early, drive to high school before the first period. I'd get on our T1 line, and I'd go to Ain't It Cool News. And at the time, they released the Phantom Menace script, but I never read it. Thank God. I'm glad I didn't. I've known about them for a while. And I want to say who was the second in command?
He had another.
They had code names, right?
Quince, and then there was Moriarty and somebody else. And you know what?
There's a guy that does a current podcast. It's like the Spielberg podcast or something.
Yeah.
He's actually in the media right now, and I think I ran into him when I went to go see Project Hail Mary, actually. I forget his name, but what were you talking about?
No, I was saying like those two guys, Moriarty and Quince, they're the screenwriters now. Like I think one of them wrote the initial draft of the Daredevil TV show.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're up and up.
Okay.
I don't even know if Ain't It Cool News is still around. I haven't checked it in forever.
I think it is around, but I mean, it's not as prolific as it used to be.
Right. Yeah. With the advent of social media, the sites for Star Wars, obviously it was Ain't It Cool News, the Force.net.
Yeah, on that
they've
all
all
the time.
they've all kind of fell off because of social media. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just don't. I mean, I want a Vader series or a Vader movie. I guess my kind of hot take is yes, you can do an Obi-Wan season 2. It doesn't have to have Obi-Wan and Vader meet up and break canon or whatever. You could just follow the line of Obi-Wan, follow with Qui-Gon, with Force Ghost Qui-Gon, who we all want to see again, and then follow the PTSD of what Vader goes through hunting down Jedi. You bring back Natalie Portman for dream sequences. I mean, it writes itself. I mean, it's pretty basic. Hayden Christensen's big right now in Star Wars. He does all the conventions. He sells out everywhere. There's a hunger for him to come back. It makes so much sense, and it's like, why aren't they doing it? My only guess is money. I think Hayden probably wants more money than they want to give him. I think back at Celebration Anaheim, he was there, but he wasn't signing or doing photo ops because I think he was like trying to negotiate more money or something. I don't know. Maybe it was because of his agent. Who knows? But he's a nice guy. I took a picture, like Mary alluded to. I took a picture with him at the Haneda Airport in Tokyo.
So I have a question. I have met Hayden Christensen like in passing and shook his hand like maybe 2 or 3 times, but I wasn't really close to him. But I have talked to people that have like, you know, gotten close to him either with photo ops or like at a autograph signing table or something like that. And they all have said that he reeks of body odor. Is that your
huh? No, I didn't.
Okay.
I mean, I put my arm around him. I didn't smell him. He's Canadian. He's Canadian. The vibe I get from Hayden Christensen is he's scared out of his mind.
Oh, yeah.
Because he barely says anything. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He doesn't want to do the wrong thing. And I kind of would be too. If I was his profile and then like millions of dollars are waiting for me, theoretically. I mean, he's so like calculating and he's just not himself, I think. But he's a nice guy. I mean, being a celebrity in this time period, it's got to be terrifying. I mean, you do not want to say the wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to be Tom Holland.
Did he say the wrong thing?
he spoils things all the time.
Oh, I'm not talking about that, Mary. I'm talking about like other
like
stuff.
Like with Timothy Chalamet and stuff. What he
that's what I'm talking about. Like when he said, like, yeah, nobody cares about the opera or ballet dancers or whatever.
Yeah, like
I mean,
that
he was
stupid.
Yeah, for a celebrity that big to say that's not the best thing to say. But and it's funny because me and Ted from Countdown City, we were waiting in line for I think it was Pizza Movie that's on Hulu right now. And we were in line with a ballet dancer, and she had a lot to say about it. And she's like, did you guys even know who his audience was when he said that live with McConaughey? She said that a whole ballet studio was in attendance when he said that.
What an idiot.
Talk about bad timing.
Yeah.
It's like, know your audience at least.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But I mean, I didn't take a whole lot of offense to that because, I mean, he was being very casual and just kind of off the cuff and everything. I don't think he truly believes that. But yeah, he's in like the headspace of, I want to be Jordan. I want to be the best ever. I want to be like Viola Davis. I want to be like Meryl Streep, Daniel Day-Lewis. And then he said that publicly. And we all kind of know that all actors want to like achieve like the greatest actor of all time. At least people say that about them. But that's like the sports world. That's what Chris and I know. And you kind of can't do that in the arts, you know? It's a little bit more tricky. That's trash talk in a way, you know. There's a lot of trash talk in sports,
and the thing is, if you come out, you say stuff like that, like I want to be the GOAT or I want to be the best ever. That what it can do is take your credibility down a notch, and then your ability to, because you got to understand that it's not your accolades that make you the greatest of all time. It's what people perceive you as, and if you do make comments that just kind of knock you down a couple of rings, you will never achieve that. You could have the most Oscars of all time. I mean, look at Tom Brady. It's still 50-50 on if he's the greatest quarterback of all time between him and Joe Montana, and he has 3 more Super Bowl rings than Joe Montana. It's just because they don't like his arrogance, and so it knocks him down a couple of notches. You just can't. You have
Montana over Brady.
Yeah, me too.
Are we talking about football right now?
Yes,
we're talking about yes, the sports ball. Yep. Sports ball. Yep. Sports.
Goals. Throwing.
Yes. Touchdowns.
Yards.
Home runs.
I know those. I know
landscaping.
I know those. Those are the ones I know.
Watering of the grass.
Lawnmower?
They use lawnmowers.
Weed whacker. Edgers.
Sometimes.
Running.
Blowers.
So before we lose everyone here, Adam Haber on YouTube says, hot take, Darth Maul should have stayed dead. He's one of, if not my absolute favorite villains because he was a killing machine with no personality. To me, that's what made the character so badass. That is a hot take.
That is a hot take. See, here's my hot take on that. So if I thought it was a gimmick when they brought Darth Maul back. I thought that was the biggest gimmick, and I remember those first couple episodes when he was Spider Maul.
Oh yeah,
I was
like Spider Maul.
That was kind of an eye roll.
Yeah, this isn't working for me. Yeah, this isn't working for me right now. How they fleshed him out was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll give Filoni credit. You know where it's due. He's known for like quick big hits with his fan service in the various shows. But for certain plot points, especially around characters, Ahsoka, Maul, he takes his time, and I give him props for that because he did that really well with Maul. If he didn't come back, he would have just been the prequel trilogy's Boba Fett. That's really what it would have been, you know. And would he still been considered badass? Yes. Would he have still been a real popular character? Yes. But lucky for us, they decided to take a chance, bring him back, and now we're probably going to get what people say is the greatest Lucasfilm animation project of all time, which debuts in a couple hours. So I think that.
Are you going to stay up to watch, or are you going to watch tomorrow?
I'm going to do it tonight. I'm not going to do it next week. So I'm going to watch I'm going to stay up till it's going to be 2-hour time when it debuts. I'm going to stay up, watch it. I might record a real quick, recap and, hot take on it and then go to sleep. But next week, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do it for the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah. If I was on the West Coast, I'd definitely stay up for all of
it. Heck no. I'm going to bed.
Real.
I'm going to bed after this. Are you kidding me?
You're going to bed. All right.
I got to wake up at 4 a.m. for my job.
Okay. Well, then you get a pass.
Yeah. Thank you.
Luckily for my job, I just have to get out of bed and walk into my office and I'm at work.
Oh, must be nice.
Yeah. Zach from Japan. He says Maul comes out today. Yes. Technically.
For you tomorrow.
For you in Japan. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
It comes out
at the end of the day.
How many hours from now?
16, 17.
3 hours from now? Yeah.
Well, for Zach, it'll be 17 or 18 hours.
No, I think it's coming out like at the exact same time.
Oh,
is it worldwide?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the US.
Yeah, I thought it was just the US.
I'm following Star Wars New Zealand, and for them it's 7 p.m. when it comes out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
3 more hours, Zach.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for my hot take?
Sure.
Please.
Star Wars fans should not make Star Wars movies or shows.
That's interesting.
I think Tony Gilroy is like the perfect example of why. Like, I think even David, you touched on it earlier, is like people are so scared to make Star Wars now because of the way fans will react to certain things and stuff. So everyone tries to follow this Star Wars formula, or it won't feel like Star Wars, and then people get upset. Versus coming at it with like a whole new idea, a whole new strategy, different things, different like concepts to where we get new stories and stuff. And like, I think like that was the essence of the first Star Wars, like the first 3, is there is no formula. It's samurai, it's spaghetti western, it's just a mosh of all these really different great versions of how to make movie, and they created their own way and stuff. And we've lost that because it's now created a formula that everyone feels like they have to follow, and then fans get all riled up being like, well, it's not new. They're just repeating stuff and everything. Here's this, here's that, as you should like as it would in every other movie. Why can't they have original thought and original stories and stuff? But then and then like you get certain situations where they try to use original stuff, and then some people are really upset about that. But I think for the most part, people really love it. Like I don't think I've heard maybe I've heard 1 or 2 people being like, I don't like Andor. But I think the majority of people absolutely loved it. Silence.
I'm trying to think because I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think I would throw a caveat in. Well, see, here's the thing: is we're supposed to be moving forward from that Star Wars formula that you mentioned,
Yeah.
because that Star Wars formula is all within the Skywalker saga, right? And we're supposed to be letting that go, which means that, hey, now the formula needs to change to something that's not the typical Star Wars formula. And you're exactly right. Fans will complain because it's the same thing over again, and fans will complain because it's not the same thing over again.
Yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword, and it's really a roll of the dice. I think with Tony Gilroy, he got a taste of it with directing that last third of Rogue One. So he kind of had an idea, but see, for him, the feedback was absolutely positive. So I think it kind of gave him the, I don't want to say courage, but kind of gave him the initiative to come out and with Andor kind of do his own thing. And I thought it was great because, I went in with the open mind, knowing that this is not going to be like any Star Wars that we've seen before. But the thing is, some fans are like, if it says Star Wars, it has to have this, 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 and this. And if it doesn't have that, it's
not Star Wars.
It's not Star Wars, exactly. But then you take something like The Acolyte, which had a lot of what Star Wars is, and they're like, no, it's wrong. That's the thing, is you can't please. You're not going to please everybody.
Yeah.
But in today's age, the ones that are not pleased seem to have the loudest voices, and I think that is one of the detriment. Here's the thing: I'm not going to crap on social media. I think social media has done a lot of good, connecting people, especially what we went through in the pandemic. It kept people in connection with, seeing what you're up to and but it does have a dark side, just like everything in life. And it has to do with a lot of the negativity that's out there, not just in how people feel about, forms of art, but in life in general. But it gives those that typically probably wouldn't have a loud voice. It gives them a loud voice, and it draws others who feel like that to them. So it can seem like it's a lot of people, but in reality, it's not. And I think, those are the people that have kind of been at the forefront of fandom, especially in Star Wars. And it just gives the entire fandom like a bad name. Like, that's where a lot of the sayings, that, all Star Wars fans are toxic, or, no one hates Star Wars more than a Star Wars fan, those silly sayings that have come out.
So unfortunate.
Exactly. But back to your original, I kind of agree with you, especially now that we're supposed to be in an era of Star Wars that's, away from the Skywalker saga. We need to kind of leave that formula in the back. The whole, it's poetry, it rhymes, which works well in the saga. But I think that we kind of got to learn to let it go.
Yeah.
Not kill it, but just learn to let it go and move forward with these new storytellers. And here's another thing. And I you spoke about, David, about how, directors and whatnot are not running to Star Wars to make Star Wars projects, and I think, obviously the weight of trying to make an entry in this huge IP can be overbearing. not to mention the negativity from the fans that you would receive, but also like your job security. I mean, how many directors and writers did Kathleen Kennedy fire?
Oh yeah.
But
you know what?
Oh, go ahead.
This is why I credit Rian Johnson so much. Like, I think a lot of people would have like gotten that feedback that he got and stuff, and the hate that he got online, and would have just like crawled into a hole and be like, I can't do this anymore. But no, he turned around and he made some of the best movies I've seen in the Knives Out series.
Knives Out, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So I credit him a lot for being able to turn around and do things like that. And I kind of do like love his attitude of like, yeah, and kind of thing. Like, they didn't like it. I liked it. I made that movie because that's what I thought was going to be good and stuff. And he just moved on and stuff. Same thing with like Tony Gilroy. Like, in interviews, people are like, what was your favorite Star Wars movie growing up? I didn't watch Star Wars. I didn't like Star Wars. I still don't like Star Wars and stuff. And like, having that mentality gives you creative freedom and stuff. And that's what I think we need more of in like these people. And I think that's why Kathleen fired so many people, is like they were trying to follow this formula so hard that she's like, this isn't original. This isn't going to be good. This is not blah, blah, blah. We've already told this story. Right.
And actually, that's a good point of view I haven't heard before. That's a good point of view. Because
she's just like, move on.
I was of the opposite opinion that they weren't following this typical program of a Star Wars movie, and that's why they got canned. Like, especially Lord and Miller for Solo, which, if you watch Solo, you can tell what scenes are Howard's and what scenes are Lord and Miller's. You can tell. And I was like, if they would have let them finish this movie, I'm sure, if anything, it would have been more humorous and it would have brought more humor to the movie. But for me, Solo is like, and that's, if you could tell, I have kind of a pattern on the Star Wars projects that aren't really my favorite, is how the story is told. And with Solo, for me, because it was essentially two different people or two different teams, I would say, directing this movie, and you can obviously tell it was just disjointed for me. And that's why, it's fun to watch. I enjoy it for its entertaining factor. It's fun, but as it's just not one of my favorites. And obviously they fired a couple of screenwriters for projects and whatnot. We have was it Josh Trank or whatever his name is, that was supposed to be doing the Boba Fett film. They canned him. The original writer for The Force Awakens, they canned him. Colin Trevorrow for episode 9, they canned him. Although I think that they canned him not necessarily because they didn't really like his script. It's because it was very Leia. From what I've read, it was very Leia heavy, and obviously we didn't have her around anymore, so we couldn't go through with that. So maybe it wasn't for content; it was because of that. But yeah, it's like what I was stating earlier. Back to David's original. Yeah, people don't want to get fired. They don't even if they're going to be paid, they don't want to get fired because the money that they make doesn't make up for the reputation hit that they'll take for being fired off a project. So that's another thing that I think keeps directors away. But then you have folks like Favreau who come in and Levy who, they're coming in doing their thing. And I'm very, when I heard that project was coming out in Japan, I was like, is the clock ticking for them to say nope? But
where's the Rey movie?
Yep.
Where's the Rey movie?
That was announced in what, 2023 in
London Celebration, right? And all those announcements have not come to fruition except for Skeleton Crew.
Yep.
Where's Taika's? Where's Donald Glover's Lando movie? Where is it all? We were promised a lot, but I think they have learned from that. They don't announce anything unless it's literally about to go into production, which I really appreciate now and stuff. Like, they announced Starfighter, they're done filming it. You know what I mean? And stuff like they announced Mando and Grogu, we're about to get in a few weeks.
Same thing
they
with
announced
Ahsoka.
Maul there. It's about to start tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really what they should do. If anything, I think Filoni and who's the other co-president, the young lady?
Oh no, Lin-Manuel Brennan.
Lin-Manuel Brennan. Yeah, I think I hope they learned from Kathleen Kennedy and like to do exactly what you said, Mary, is that let's get everything on paper to know that, hey, now we're contracted to do this. We have to do it. Then we'll announce the project. Versus, hey, we have these ideas that, we really think they're going to happen. And then they end up just not happening.
And that's why I think they split the roles. Like Kathleen was doing all of it. And I think that was a part of the issues that we were facing with Lucasfilm and Star Wars is like, her hand was in number one, her hand was like in too many spaces and her mind could not get into one space. So like running a business is a lot. Especially a CEO role is a lot. So I'm really happy. And like Dave Filoni has said it so many times. He's like, I am a creative. Like, I just want to doodle on the plane. I throw these ideas at Athena and she goes, all right, let's make it and stuff, you know? So I'm really happy that they split the role and stuff so that he can do what he's good at and she can do what she's good at and they can work together on these things, you know?
Yeah. And I don't have any like proof or anything but I think that's why this didn't happen maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Because I do believe Kathleen Kennedy, whenever those rumors started that she was going to be fired, I didn't think she was going to be fired. I thought she would give it 9 to 10 years tops, because that's normally what you don't want to stay in a place too long, because then, you know, like from Batman, you know, you become the villain if you stay too long, right? But
Bob Iger.
I think, Bob Iger, exactly.
That's a good example.
That is the perfect example. He was everyone's hero, but pre-COVID, he was everyone's hero.
And now he's like, and that's one thing I want to talk to you about. Maybe not on the show, but like how you feel about Josh tomorrow. I have a good feeling about him, but I want to see what you think. But no,
we can definitely talk about it off the podcast and stuff.
Yeah,
of like the info.
I mean, it technically does affect Star Wars though, but we'll take it offline. But no, I think that's why it didn't happen sooner, because I know they wanted it. Not Favreau. Filoni is the obvious choice, right? He was the only really choice. But like you said, he doesn't want to have anything to do with the business side of the thing. He just wants to be the creative. And I think when they finally were able to agree on, okay, Brennan, Filoni, co-president, he was like, okay, I'm on board, because I can still, essentially, I'm going to do what I want to do still. And then I have someone else to back me up on the business side. And essentially also like dealing with Disney, because I know a lot of the heartaches that Lucasfilm has endured has been because Disney reached its hand in there and forced changes to be made. I don't doubt
Correct.
That. So
I think though, for sure, is that decision was very last minute. Because why would you announce someone as VP of Creative for within 6 months, maybe even less that, maybe 3 months, announce him as co-CEO? So my theory is that it was supposed to be Lin-Wen alone and stuff. And they felt like, no, these are the same mistakes we made with Kathleen and stuff. And then they decided she can only do it if Dave Filoni does it alongside with her. Yeah, because there is no way for you to announce someone as a VP of something and then within 3 months, maybe 6 months max, announce him as co-CEO. Does not make sense.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Yep. I would be down with that theory.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but the reality of things. Yeah. So that's my hot take. Us Star Wars fans, we shouldn't make Star Wars. We should just enjoy it. David's thinking. He's got villain thinking face.
Yeah, for that, Mary, I think I have a yes and no for that. And I think I'm more no 60%. Yes, 40%. Because I do think not so much now, but when Star Wars was coming back after Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3, there's a long hiatus once again. And I just remember feeling so nervous for The Force Awakens. And then when it was like solid and stable, I was like, okay, cool. We have a nice foundation to build off on. I wasn't as nervous. And then when, of course, The Last Jedi came out, the huge fan backlash online, I was like, oh my God. But now that that's kind of happened, I think creators can be less nervous about it, because I don't think anything's on top of the just explosiveness of The Last Jedi.
The Acolyte?
No,
the Acolyte got so much hate. No,
yeah, but it didn't top The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi was like something we've never seen before.
And I think that the reason why I was a little bit, I agree with David. I think it was more tempered than the backlash for The Last Jedi because it's a TV show. I think, and it's a TV show that is set outside of the Skywalker saga. This was smack dab in the middle of the Skywalker saga.
Beloved characters in it. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's why. Yeah, I do believe that there was backlash, no doubt, but it was a little bit more tempered, or probably a lot more tempered than it was for The Last Jedi, because of it being outside of the saga and being a television show.
Yeah. I think a lot of people had expectations for The Acolyte, and it would have fulfilled those promises if it got a season 2. And I think that's why so many people were like, "This is awful. Why are we getting this?" kind of thing.
Right.
So for me, it felt like really bad because it was like not just, hey, what happened with Luke, but more of like, I was promised so much in this, and it had so much potential, and it only gave me like, it's like when someone bakes a pie and they only give you like a piece of crust and there's no filling kind of thing. That's how it felt. It's like we got Plagueis at the end.
So yeah, it is
amazing.
It
we
is
got a
interesting.
lightsaber bleeding.
Because in 2009, I did grow up in a Star Wars family, thank God, and I also grew up in a Planet of the Apes family. I grew up in a sports family, a San Antonio Spurs family, a Dallas Cowboys family, and also a Star Trek family. So I knew a lot about Trek. And in 2009, when I went to go see the new Star Trek movie, I was like, oh my gosh, this felt like a Star Wars movie. Who directed this? Whoever directed this needs to direct the next Star Wars film. It was J.J. Abrams. J.J. is notorious for saying, I wasn't a Star Trek fan. I was a Star Wars fan. So he made Star Trek into the most Star Wars-y type film he could, and it was great. It was wonderful. He didn't care about Star Trek, but he got the job to do Star Trek, and it was great. It's one of my favorite films of all time.
But I will say,
he was a massive Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't making a Star Wars movie,
right?
Because it wasn't on the table yet.
Yeah, I liked, out of the 3, what is it, Kelvin verse movies?
The Kelvin timeline.
I only really liked the first one. The other 2 are The first one I
really liked In the Darkness, man. I don't get why people don't like that movie, but anyway,
it wasn't. It didn't hit me as hard as like Wrath of Khan, but which essentially it tried to be, but it wasn't. I really dug the first one, but I grew up in a family similar to yours, David, where but really I was Star Wars was secondary for most of the other people in my family, but Trek was number 1, right? And they were loyal Trek from the original series. They did not like the 2009 Star Trek. They thought that this is not Star Trek is not. They said exactly what you said. It looks like it's a Star Wars movie with Trek,
with the Trek skin. Yeah,
with the Trek skin, and they're like, that's not what Star Trek is. Star Trek is not supposed to be Star Wars. While I dug it, I thought it was good. They're like, nope. And I don't even think. I think probably the majority of my family that are Trekkers. They didn't even see the other 2 because they're like, nope, we're just not digging it.
I ran into a lot of Trekkies and Trekkers saying, I hated that movie. How could you like it? You're not a real Star Trek. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
sure.
And I'm not a big Star Trek fan, and that's probably why I do. Although I'm
not, because I haven't been able to keep up with all the new shows on Paramount Plus and all that. And then we run the Star Wars podcast, so I'm really concentrated on Star Wars now. But yeah, I do have a lineage of Star Trek in my family. And JJ said one of the most incredible things that I had ever heard, Star Trek versus Star Trek. He said Star Trek is like classical music and Star Wars is rock and roll. And I was like, oh my God, that's so true.
That's so true.
That's a perfect analogy. It's a perfect analogy. Yep. It's everything is black and white. It's pristine. It's beautiful looking, sounding. Whereas Star Wars is off the beaten path, dirty and rusted and used. Especially episode A New Hope. That's the whole movie right there. It's used, rusted, old and really, rock sounding, rock music sounding perfect.
Yeah. And it's futuristic, but somehow in the past.
Exactly. It's, they have laser swords, but it happened a long time ago.
Yeah. That's mind-bendy. Travis Mitchell on YouTube says the cinematography on Phantom Menace is very underrated. There's so many one takes where the camera whips between different characters that makes it feel alive. They don't really do it again. Interesting. Who was the cinematographer on Phantom Menace?
I don't know. It's not McCallum was the producer. I don't know who the cinematographer is, but I would agree with Travis that cinematography for the Phantom Menace is wildly underrated. I know a lot of folks had issues with the plot of the Phantom Menace, but if you take the plot out, it's still one of the most beautiful movies ever made. And I thought like how they mixed, even though it was the majority was CG, but how they mixed like really crude practical effects with like high-end CG. I thought it was a masterpiece. But yeah, I would agree with Travis that the cinematography is underrated.
I knew this answer. It's David Tattersall.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it. Now I know who you're talking about, but it was
the name's familiar, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, back in the day, all these names from the prequels are like Gavin Bouquet, and even Pablo Hidalgo was
Pablo Hidalgo. Yep,
all over Star Wars Hyperspace and StarWars.com and TheForce.net, and even Steve Sansweet was a part of Lucasfilm at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would do the opening to like the opening ceremonies for Celebration. He was the one emceeing that panel.
Nice.
I was going to ask you this question, Chris, and you too, Mary. I want to get both of your opinions on this. So we've gone many, many years without a theatrical Star Wars film. How many times per year or per decade should we be getting a theatrical Star Wars film release? Once a year, once every 2 years, in May, in December? What say you guys?
So I am of the every other year. I think that we've kind of learned our lesson. The one every year, even though it technically was only done twice, it only worked once. And I think when you're at 50% success rate, that's not good. It only worked with The Force Awakens and Rogue One. It definitely did not work with The Last Jedi and Solo. So I would be, no matter like if it's part of a trilogy or anything, I think once every other year is good. And I'm old school. Even though I enjoyed having the Star Wars films released around Christmas time because I'm a big Christmas person and I love Christmas.
Me too.
To have
you have a lot in common, Chris.
Yeah, we do, man. I think that's why we jive pretty well because we have a lot in common. But I love I go all out for Christmas, and just to have that season and then a Star Wars
Christmas R2 back there.
Yes, just minus the lights. I only put them out. I'm only going to put the lights on him for Christmas. But yeah, that just made the holiday season so much sweeter. But I am a purist, and for me, Star Wars movies should be released in Memorial Day weekend. That's just me. So that's what I would prefer.
Mary?
I'm also every other year. I think it gives us like a nice break. But you know what I want it? I want it to be the non-celebration year. I wanted to follow that line. So it's like when I'm not getting a Star Wars movie, I have Star Wars Celebration to look forward to that year.
That's a pretty interesting take because I know when Celebration was first created, it was to celebrate the upcoming movie that was being released. But now it's taken a different life. So I could jive with that. With that. Yeah.
For me, it's like I want 1 year, I want a movie, and I want to be super excited for that movie to come out and everything. And then the following year, no, because Starfighter's coming out next year. But like then the following year, it's like now I'm excited for Celebration to come out, and they're going to announce the movie that's going to come out the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be perfect timing. Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly. That's what I want and stuff. I don't know. So I know there was a comment earlier, Zach from Japan, like that there'll be burnout like Marvel did. I don't think we would have that. I don't think there would be Star Wars burnout if it was every year. I think the reason I want it every other year is that I don't want them to try to, I mean, they could make a million movies and stuff, and I would think a lot of them would be great, but then a lot of them would not be because it's
Right,
like the
exactly.
pressure of I need to get one out every single year kind of thing.
And
And I think
here's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think that's why like we get a lot of these series where it's like a hit or a miss because it's like we gotta get our streaming content up and all these stuff. So it's like forced kind of like, well, it needs to come out by this time. It
Mhm.
needs to happen, all these things. So you get bad storytelling, you get unfinished works, you get changed things at the last second that's inconsistent and incohesive. So
Yeah,
Right.
and the thing is if Lucasfilm did that, then that's what Disney would expect. So they would
mhm,
demand that you had to move. And then you're exactly right, Mary. It would end up like Marvel because we got a couple of snoozers on Marvel, and then
mhm,
it took a money hit and a reputation hit too for them to say, okay, we need to pull back a little bit. And
mhm,
but see, once you get to that point, the damage is done.
Mm.
So I kind of agree with that. That one, if you churn them out like that, then Disney's going to see the money coming in. They're like, okay, we need a movie every year,
yeah.
and then you're gonna if you go so fast, you are gonna bypass quality. It's just human nature. So yeah, we don't want that. And I think while I don't think there will be burnout, like you said, Mary, I do think that we run the risk of dropping movies that aren't quality, and then that hurts the entire brand. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think every other year. Um, I would probably take it a step further as like maybe every other year for 6 years, and then take like a 3 to 4 year break. I think that helps the
Yeah.
anticipation. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, look what it did for obviously the time frame. It was 16 years between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace, and
Mhm.
Star Wars was, I'm not saying take that long, but Star Wars was, it was at a fever pitch. And then it was 10
Yeah.
years between Sith and I'm sorry, Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And you know, the anticipation and the hype was off the charts. So maybe not that long, but maybe 3 to 4 years. Give us a break and
Yeah.
then come back with and hit us hard with, you know, 3 good movies, you know.
So to add on to this question, it's obviously we'll still get series. They've got to fill Disney Plus with new content to
Mhm.
hold on to subscribers, right?
Before Iger
But
left, he said, "No, we need to step back from the series and concentrate on theatrical." But Iger's gone now. Tomorrow's taking over. So what are we gonna do?
well, I don't know what Damara will do on that side of it, but
And
I
are you
think
counting
they
Maul Shadow Lord as a series? It's not live action; it's animation, which is Filoni's wheelhouse, and he's a
bread and
CEO
butter.
now. Yeah.
But they have to create content. I don't think they'll create content for like series content for the streaming
Mhm.
services as quickly as they are now. Like we got Visions in October. We've got what? We've got Shadow Lord coming up. We're gonna have Ahsoka. When is Ahsoka? Next year? This year.
They
Should
keep
be
saying
this
it's
year
going to be
sometime,
this
right?
year,
But
but
we
we
don't
have
have a
heard nothing.
month, right?
We have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
it's like
Once we get past Mando Grogu, Shadow Lord, then we'll probably get the
that
news.
exactly and stuff like that. So it's like
Probably gonna be
I don't think
November.
they'll but so then now what that's 3 series in 1 year,
Mhm.
right? And I feel like I'm forgetting something.
You're thinking about like 2025 when we had
I
like
think I am because
Andor,
Visions was October.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
If it all like crossed, and we're like, when did it happen?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I don't think they'll go that quickly with
Mhm.
throwing out stuff on the streaming, but they've got to put content on there or they're going to lose subscribers
Mhm.
Yeah.
and stuff. So is it you want a movie every other year and then 2 series a year or a
I
series a year?
I would say a minimum of 2 series, 1 in the spring, 1 in the fall. If you
Mhm.
don't have 2, you have 1 series and then 1 like micro series like Tales of the Jedi or
Yeah.
even Visions. At least something like that. I do think you have to have 2 debuts of Star Wars content on Disney Plus a year.
Yeah.
Um, um, even in a movie year. obviously you want to position, but if you do a spring and you do a fall, that leaves the summertime for you to focus on your movie,
A blockbuster.
Yeah, a blockbuster. Yeah. So that's I would go with 2. If not 2, then like I said, 1 full series and then at least like a micro series that can kind of keep the appetite going a little bit until the next thing comes about.
Yeah.
I think if you overdo it, then you're back to Marvel again. Marvel had some snoozers there on Disney Plus as well. So
yeah. Zach says he wants Old Republic content.
That was verified back in like 2022. And then they had it in the timeline at Celebration in London. And we haven't gotten any news or any spy reports or rumors or anything. It's gone like super cold. Craig 5 has chimed in from the nether realm of the Star Wars stuff chat text. He says he hurt his back, so he couldn't join us, sadly. He says every other year. Yeah. He says every other year for Star Wars film, and he does talk about how Marvel had like 3 to 4 a year, and they started to stink. So,
yeah, it's too much.
Irrational David, I guess, would want 2 movies a year. One for Memorial Day weekend, like we're getting this year for Mando Grogu, and then one for Christmas. So I have a Christmas present to unwrap every year. That's Star Wars.
Yeah,
I would want Christmas.
Yeah, it's close for me. Like I said, it's just because we said, I'm a Christmas guy, and to have a Star Wars movie at Christmas time, it just makes it that much more special for me. But again, I'm just an old head. I'm just used to having Star Wars Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Plopping the sequels every Christmas, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna hijack my Christmas. Every single year they drop these, and I love it because I'm looking forward to a Star Wars film. And yeah, it totally hijacked my 2014, 2015. But yeah, Rational David, once every year. For a long time, I wanted it to always be May because that's Star Wars month, Mm-hmm. But I've warmed up to the Christmas holiday. I mean, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, and dropping them every Christmas for 3 straight years was so great. I love that. Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure how Star Wars was going to work. It did work. So I kind of don't mind Christmas or the start of the summer season. So yeah, that's my take there.
Love it. Any other hot takes in the comments?
There's lots of comments here.
Oh my gosh, Zach, you're so mean. You're reading it?
Yeah.
You should put it up
just kidding. Hope your back is better soon, Craig. Yeah, I mean, we have less than what time is it? 11:30 Central.
2.5 hours.
So yeah, we're pretty close to the dawn of another big chapter in Lucasfilm animation. From all the reviews, I'm expecting great things, but I hate it when that happens because it usually doesn't.
Your expectations are too high.
Yeah, I need to drop them. I need to drop them for sure. A lot of people have seen the first 2 episodes.
The spoilers?
So okay, we need to talk about that because there are some spoilers online. There's some poster stuff.
If we got invited, if any of us got invited, we wouldn't be putting out spoilers. I'm just letting you know, Lucasfilm. We would respect the invitation.
Yeah, we can keep secrets here. Yeah,
we can keep secrets.
Yeah, if I was invited, I wouldn't say anything because unless they might ask us to, and then I would keep it very short and sweet. But the reason why is because I could think that it's the greatest thing ever, and if I I could go out and write paragraphs and paragraphs about how I thought, without spoilers, by the way, how I thought it was great. And then all it takes is one person to say, I don't agree with you. And then they take that off into a negative rant on social media. And then it becomes this big thing. So I would just keep it short and sweet. If they mandated that, hey, if we invite you, we want you to say something. But if they didn't, I wouldn't say anything after the premiere and then because that gives people context to kind of compare how they felt to how you felt whereas right now there's no context. And I know for a fact there's a lot of jealousy out there that a select few of us got to, yeah.
Right here.
You.
Me. As soon as I saw videos of the box.
That too. Let's talk about
No. Okay, yeah, we can talk about it. As soon as I saw videos of the boxes getting opened, I immediately text our group chat and be like, I want a box.
I mean, all you have to do is look at our backgrounds. This is not fake. This is all real money we've spent.
And the thing is,
Chris's background, thousands of dollars.
I've got on this counter. It starts there.
By the way, notice the Last Jedi poster from Celebration 2017 that I have.
I have that one too, and
I display proudly. But
so this right here, I got from Celebration. That I got from Celebration. These I got from LA Comic-Con. That I got from Celebration. That I got from Celebration.
You can see them all right here.
Local artist stuff. Oh yeah, I got them all right there.
Yep. Now I wouldn't say I was jealous. I would be like, half those people that I know, half of them, and I know that I'm more deserving to go see that premiere than they.
That's what you kind of think, right? Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, they're all good people. I like them all, but I was like, yeah, I know those guys, and yeah, I think I deserve to go over them. But no, I'm happy for them. They got the boxes and they got to go.
Yeah.
But no, the campaign. Set. Yep. The campaign.
I don't want the cozy. I want that cozy to watch the show in. That's what I really want.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the campaign, the campaign to go to the premiere of Mandalorian and Grogu starts today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone reach out.
Yep.
Are you gonna come out and see it with us, Chris?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna come out and see it with us, Chris? Come out and see it at
if I have a reason to, I'll go see it. Right now, I'm planning to see it here locally at the biggest IMAX screen in the state.
We're inviting you right now.
All right. Well, hey, I'm there. New year, new me. I'm going to these things.
There you go. This is if you come, you can stay with me. And this is the
room I'll stay in.
This is the room. You, David, Ted. If Ted is coming,
we'll just have an old-fashioned slumber party like we did when we were kids.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I got a king-size bed you guys can all cuddle on.
Okay, that's a little bit too far, but that's okay. We'll make it work. I'll take the floor. I don't care.
No, yeah, I was going to say a certain host on the podcast, he lives 1 block away from the red carpet. So
nice.
Yeah.
I wonder who it is.
I wonder whose internet just went out. Yeah, there's an issue in LA apparently with internet access.
Hook up the 5G, man. Use the phone.
I hotspot it.
Yep. When I did a guest spot on Cantina Cast before I became a regular host, I was on my phone because my internet wasn't working. It looked great.
Man. Craig used to do the same thing.
The other night, my husband took my car and my laptop was in my car, and David's like, "We're gonna podcast." I was like, I don't have my laptop. He's like, "Use your phone." I was like, no, I'll comment.
No, your phone, your phone looks better than you think. So I use my phone. There was one time where Albert's camera didn't work, so he essentially just used his phone's camera, piped it into his computer, and it looked better than his original camera.
Yeah,
I think James has done that too, where when he was doing like that side profile, it was like his phone and he's watching his laptop kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do people in America all still do sleepovers like we do in kids?
Nope, not anymore. There's just no more trust. So no, I take that back. There's a lack of trust in other parents, and then the other parents don't want to be responsible for the other people's children if they're staying at their house. So I know with my kids growing up, sleepovers didn't happen nearly as often as they did when I was a kid.
Yeah. For my god kids, it's only cousin sleepovers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the same for our kids. It was just cousins or friends where we knew the parents like we were friends with the parents. That's a different story. But like, Billy from my class is having a sleepover for his birthday. Nah, sorry.
Yeah,
you can go to his party, but you can't stay.
Yeah,
and those were the greatest in the 90s, early 90s. I do sleepovers all the time. We'd be playing Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis all night, renting movies,
Landing parties,
watching them on VHS, and I mean, it would just be a bunch of us, and nobody really worried about much. But I was in a small town too, so. But yeah,
did you guys let your kids trick or treat?
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'd go with my kids, and
Mhm.
just like everyone kind of does that. All the parents are kind of behind, unless they're older. But
People
I was
don't do
gonna
that here
say,
anymore.
my youngest daughter, she went to a birthday party, and my wife was working Saturdays at that time, and I just went and I stayed, and I was the only parent there, and it was just some like classmate's house, and I was like, I don't want to leave my kid here with some random people I don't know. So I stayed. The parents were like looking at me for a while, like waiting for me to leave. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere unless I take my kid with me. So I just stayed there and like kind of just sat there. They knew I was a parent, so
yeah.
I don't want to just not know what happened to her in that time I left her. You just never know.
Yep.
Yeah. People don't like take their kids trick or treating here anymore. Like our streets are quiet. Every year, me and my husband have like
That's
a ton of
sad.
candy. We don't get a single trick or treater
Wow.
and stuff.
Yeah. I think this last year when we first moved, we first moved into this house in 2021, we would have trick or treaters out the wazoo. And I think it was the first time that October of 2021, we ran out of candy. We've never run out of candy before. So now we would overbuy. And I think this last Halloween, we got 7 trick or treaters.
Dang.
It's gotten weird. Maybe after the pandemic. Yeah.
No,
we would overbuy too. And these bags are like $20 a bag now.
Oh, yeah. I know. Like I remember as a kid, the razors and the candy thing was a thing, and like people enjoyed.
As an urban legend, it never happened.
No,
really?
it happened in Austin. It did.
Really?
I remember it happened in LA too.
Not razors, but there were needles in like the yellow and blue and red gum. They would put they would take off the
it was like
syringes,
cylinders.
Like cylinders, and they would stick needles in there. And after they found that, a year after that, the hospitals were offering free X-rays for your candy to see if there was needles in there. Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, it happened in Austin back in the 80s.
Yep, it happened in LA too and stuff. And then I think everyone started doing like the house parties. We're going to go to a house parties, like the events, go trick-or-treating at the mall and going to local places. And then Disney really took off with like their Halloween parties and stuff. Because then it was like, I know so many people here. I live close to Disneyland, so it makes sense for me to know a lot of people. But they're like, we don't take our kids trick-or-treating. We'd rather take them and do the Mickey's like trick-or-treating Oogie Boogie Bash situation. Yeah. Because we know they're going to get a ton of candy, they're going to get experiences, etc.
Is that what it's called in Disneyland, the Oogie Boogie? Because I know it at Disney World, Bash. It's the not so scary.
Yeah, it's called Oogie Boogie Bash here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where I live, they do trunk or treat, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
that's not trick or treating, but yeah, the whole safety thing and
right.
They decorate people's car trunks.
Or
you just sit in your trunk.
Into it, but yeah. And I've driven around during Halloween too, and there's like no one out. No kids walking the streets, nothing. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's for me, it's like the evolution of your neighborhood, because the kids that are trick-or-treating one year, in 2 to 3 years, they've become too old to trick-or-treat. And nothing replaces them.
And I disagree with that. I mean, there are some kids that are older that are like acting a fool and like just out there to like cause chaos. And then there's some people that, maybe like seniors in high school, and usually it's girls, and they come up and they're like trick or treating. And I don't say nothing. I'm like, okay, you're having fun. It's not a big deal.
You could. That's what I was going to ask you. Is that if you had like a high school senior or junior come and trick or treat, would you give them candy or say
if they got a costume on? It's like, come on, it's like you're still celebrating.
I'm with you. I give them candy because you know what? They could be out doing worse things,
right?
And they're just trick or treat. I give them. I have no qualms about giving them candy.
Yeah, it's a wholesome thing to do, and it's just
that's really sweet.
Candy. I mean, come on.
It is really sweet.
You want to do
Zach,
something for Halloween.
I go to Oogie Boogie Bash. Isn't Halloween the only time you can dress up at Disney? Yes and no. So more people get to dress up and wear more authentic Disney character costumes, which usually like the park, you can do that all year round at the park. You can go dressed up at the park if you want. Most people do it for Halloween or for the after dark events. So like Star Wars night, tons of people dress up. Some non-official Disney days like Dapper Day, people will dress up in like Disney inspired dapper like outfits. Like I've seen some really great Ahsokas, things like that. I did Krennic this last Dapper Day and stuff like that. So yes, you can dress up all year. Halloween is when they're a little bit more lax. What you can't do is you cannot say you are a Disney character and let people like take pictures with you under the impression that you are a Disney character. Kind of thing.
Banhammer.
Correct. So if you're dressed up as like Han Solo and you look very similar to Han Solo and stuff like that, like then they go no. You can't like stand up and like do pictures and things like that. But I've seen people go in full Mandalorian and you cannot tell if they are like a cast member or if it's someone just enjoying the parks.
I thought you weren't. I thought you weren't allowed to wear a helmet or cover your face.
For Star Wars night, they'll let you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense
You
then.
can't walk in with your face covered. So you have to have like your helmet, everything off.
Mhm.
But once the party starts, you're good to go. And
Oh, that's
stuff.
awesome. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
You can't go dressed as Chewie kind of thing. Like you can walk in like regular and then change in there as Chewie, but you have to like it has to look pretty different kind of thing.
So like
So
one of his kids or something.
yeah.
Or
Itchy.
what about like
Lumpy.
Lumpy, there we go. Or Black Chrysanthemum or something like something that's not
Lumbaru.
Chewbacca. Yeah.
I know it's hard with those ones.
Benji.
I think those ones they kind of like use their discretion because I've seen people go in dressed as like full stuff
Zach,
and everything.
That's the Mandalorian code, though. They have to go to the waters of the Tecate.
They just go jump in the Toontown fountain. That's what they do.
my
They'll jump in
gosh.
the Toontown fountain, splash their face a little bit, and they're good. Or Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's hilarious.
I wouldn't touch that water for my life. In either park.
You know,
smells
before
so
they
good,
changed it, I was on Splash Mountain and the people in front of me, they had like a water bottle and they dipped in the water and then drank it. I was like, oh gosh, I wouldn't do
So
that.
gross.
But
If you came with us to Tokyo Disneyland, you would have gotten to go on the original Splash Mountain. It's the only one left.
I did go
Oh,
on it.
wow.
I was there.
You did. What days? We stayed. Okay, so when we were in Japan, we stayed at the Ambassador Hotel for 3 days and did the vacation package.
Ambassador.
We stayed at the Toy Story Hotel with the vacation package.
Okay, period. I was there when we first got there. Shoot, I have to look at my thing. We'll talk about this off camera, but
Yeah.
we did that, and then we went over after our 3-day package. We went over across the way to the Hilton, so that we were still staying on Disney property. Because what was nice about Tokyo Disneyland is you could buy a nighttime ticket for
Yep.
like half the cost, and we did that a couple of nights with like friends that we made at the con.
I did that one night.
Yeah,
And
I wonder if we saw each other and didn't even realize
we
it.
had to have. I mean, because
Yeah.
at that time, I noticed several people that are like, yeah, they're here for celebration. They're not here
100%.
as tourists. So we must have had.
Yeah.
The one thing about the day we went to Disney Sea, it was
Mhm.
raining all day. So we were probably then if it
Oh.
was it was all day raining, cold and rainy at Disney Sea.
You went a few days before the celebration then.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, we were there. We got there about a week, 2 weeks before celebration. And we started with Disney.
Oh, okay.
And then we did Japan, Tokyo, and then we finished with celebration.
Yeah,
But
I
we
did it.
went a few times during like throughout because we were so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the opposite. I did the Tokyo thing when I first got there. Then I did Disney. Then I did
Yeah.
Celebration. Then we did some more Tokyo. Well, no, actually, it was Tokyo, then Disney, then Osaka, Kyoto, and the Nintendo Museum, which was nice. Then Celebration, then a little bit more Tokyo, where we got lost in Shibuya. And,
nice.
Yeah, and the trains were done, and we were kind of like, shit. Oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
Oh no!
How dare you?
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's essentially
what I said. Rule.
You got the one strike. Okay, bye.
I think I never got stuck without the train and stuff. My husband did, because he went to the Roosevelt's meetup with like our friends that we made from Celebration that were staying at our same hotel. It was like a guy and his dad, super nice. Hi, Xander and Paul, if you're watching. But they went to the Roosevelt's meetup, and I was like, I'm going to bed. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, because it was like the second day of Celebration. And the next morning, I was going to the Visions panel, and I was like, I don't want to wake up late. I don't want to be tired at the Celebration and all that stuff. So they ended up getting stuck on a train and stuff. Yeah, the train just stopped. They ended up having to wait and stuff. And then I think he didn't get back to the hotel, because by the time they were able to find their way home, it was like 4 a.m. It was wild.
I would have just dropped $120 for the Uber or the taxi or whatever.
I think that's what they did, but I think they couldn't get off the actual train.
Oh, snap.
Someone had to like come door to door and let people off.
Wow.
Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah, I want to.
That's why you put air tags on your people while you vacation.
Yes, I know. Yep, I had to do that with a couple of my people too, because they go off and they get lost, and then we ended up getting lost in Shibuya ourselves. And it's like, we were just here. How do we get lost? I want to go back, Matt. I really do.
Yeah. Me too.
So yeah, we all want to go back to Tokyo. It was a great experience, and you'll probably be included in our next trip, Chris.
Hey, I'm down.
Yeah. Are you going to Level Up?
Probably not.
Okay, so we'll see you in SpaceCon.
Probably not.
Oh,
I was gonna go. Actually, I take that back. You might see me on Sunday. I might have to go to Europe for work that week.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Period. All right.
But I will be at Rebel Scum Con.
I will be there too.
I will. Maybe we can coordinate, and I'm going to be at D23 too. So.
Oh yeah, we'll meet up. We'll go to like downtown, or we'll have dinner or something.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm right there. I forgot the hotel that I got, but I'm there at one of those good neighbor hotels.
Oh, okay, cool.
Disneyland. So I just don't remember what it is, but yeah, I'll be there for D23, and then.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Rebel Scum Con.
If you do a Disneyland day, let me know. I have a pass, and we can go together. Do a reservation day for it. Yeah.
Will do.
All right. And on that note, guys, for Mary, Chris, my name's David. And for Zach, he says, may the force be with you long time.
Always.
Always.
Always.